Hello, Little League. First off, welcome to Season 7. We got to the slot draft. Obviously, it kicks off today. This is going to be uploaded a little bit earlier because I want everyone to get like a little bit of a head start. A lot of the people in the Little League are returning players. You got HM, Matty, Whooper, B-Dave, B-Dave, Bedo, Devil Dave, etc., who kind of already know how slot drafts work and kind of probably already have at least somewhat of an idea of who they're going to be drafting. However, there's new players, and some of them won't fully understand maybe how a slot draft will work. So if you are new, please do watch this, because I feel like it will help you a lot as far as going into the draft, and it'll make everything run a lot smoother. Returning players, you probably haven't even clicked this video. You'll see the title and you won't click it. But if you're new, please stick around. So I'm going to show you why certain draft positions work a lot differently from others, and how kind of that is going to affect your draft going forward. So I'm going to use a random example. In fact, I'll use a couple of random examples to get you a full idea of kind of how it's going to work. So let's say we go Pepina, and let's say Pepina goes slot B. So dead early. So the plus side of going slot B is that you're going to get the first pick. Well, you're going to get the second pick of who your first round is going to be. So if you look down here, this is going to show what your pick numbers are going to be throughout the draft. So slot B, you're going to be the second pick in the entire draft. Why does that matter? Well, because you're the second pick in the draft. So it means nobody's currently being drafted apart from one person, which means you can get whoever you want. Now, a telltale way of making a draft, and this is really good for doing mock drafts as well. I have a separate video for it, but that one's a little bit outdated, because obviously the draft sheet has changed, so I kind of will go through it a little bit on here, just to kind of get everyone caught up. So Pepina, let's say Pepina is draft B, or slot B, if that's what Pepina would want to go for. Your second pick, if you go to Kidstat Visual, what you can do is, you can go over here, and if you go over to where it says rank, it'll give you an idea, roughly, this isn't totally concrete, but it's usually a good way to measure where you want to be picking for a roundabout that draft slot. So round 2, generally, Lear and Henri. Lear and Henri? I mean, you can go Lear and draft B if you want somebody who's more of a pitcher. But generally, A and B are usually reserved for Henri and Julie. Best players in the game, right? 98 offense, 85 defense. They rank 1 for a reason, right? So that's basically what that means, and that's all that means. That means if you're picking early, you get a pick from the better players. However, if you do pick really early and pick 1, you're pick 47 in pick 2, which means you're second last. So, pick 47, you're going to be missing out on a lot of these. You're going to be missing out on your Francis Blues, you're going to be missing out on your Larry Walkers, your Emily Lubels, your Fade Dawsons. There's a chance you might get one of them if you get lucky, but if you're going for rank B, your second rounder is going to be quite late. So chances are you're going to be missing out on that kind of player. Now, who can you get instead? Well, rank 47, Mark and Sophie are possible. However, you're probably looking more around the Courtney area. You're looking around the, let's have a look, rank 50, Star and Stewart, Norma, Brenda. Let's have a look. Who else have we got here? You're looking around that area. You might be able to pull off like a Sally, or an Alex, or a Zoe. Probably these guys, you're kind of looking around that area for who you're probably going to be looking to pick. But again, it comes down to the draft. Some people will pick good value, some people will pick bad value. So I would look, even if you are 47, I would look at people like Juan and people like, you know, your Vlads, your Fays, your Barrys, your Claudias. If you can get these type of players round 2, that's great. Especially if you manage to get them early, it's really good value. So keep an eye out for that. And basically, as you go down, you'll just see there's your numbers. And if you want a rough idea of where you want to be going for that kind of thing, just go to the rank. It's the easiest way to do it. If you're an experienced player, you won't go by rank, because you're already going to know kind of who you want and who's going to be value for that level. Like, for example, Cal, and I'm going to use Cal as an example. He's ranked 54. So, 54, he's third round. That's an easy way to do it. He's third round. He's a third round pick, which I'd agree. Yeah. As somebody who's got, this will be my third season. Yeah, you get Cal third round. All day. Right, you're happy with that. And that's about it. That is literally all you do. That is all the slot drafts are, and that is how the slot drafts are going to work. I will show another example, just to balance it out. If you go for a very late slot, let's say you go slot V, you're pick 22 for your first pick. Why does that matter? Because you're going to miss out on all the really good first rounders. You're missing out on all of these. You might get Marcellus. In fact, 22, there's probably a good chance you can get Marcellus. But your Chicos, your Lindsays, your Jade, Leah, Cheryl, Sammy, Tanya, no, you're not going to get them. Right, 22, you're looking at your Jessicas, your Barrys, your Sarahs, your Kenny Loftons, your Dawns. It's not a bad thing, and I'll show you why in a minute, but, because they're still really good players, but you are missing out on what I would consider to be the carry people. Xena and Zenon, if you can get Xena and Zenon, rank 22, I mean, that's really good value. In my opinion. Especially in the Little League, I think that's really solid. So you can't really go wrong there. That also means, in slot B, round 2 is 47. In slot V, 31. It's a lot earlier, right? So, slot 31, you can get Pablo, Fred, chance you could get Larry, Lubel, Joanne's going to be pretty easy to get. You could get Francis, you could get Davey. It's around that. Leave yourself like a 3 or 4 in like the rank difference of what you could get. And yeah, you're set. Dead easy. That's literally all you got to do. So, hopefully, that gives you a better idea of how the slot drafts work as far as what you want to go. Generally, all I'll say is A and B, really early. You can get those people who are considered the carry players. Slot X to say S, yes, you're losing a lot of value in the first round, but you are getting an early second round, and that really helps balance it out. After that, all the other numbers are here to give you an example of who you're going to be picking. Let's just, for the sake of it, just so you can get a look, because generally, especially if you're new, you probably only looked at the good players and you haven't considered that once you get to this area, around round 7, I'd say, is where you start getting the players that are a bit, you know, you're struggling a little bit then, because the player level isn't great. So let's say we go to rank 7. Let's say you're in slot draft L. That puts you at 164. 164 is giving you people like Murray Goldman, Kurt Schilling, Nam Porter. You know, these players have at least one good stat. And I think round 7, they will have them. They will have at least one good stat. But they will also have glaring weaknesses. So if you look at Murray, 100 arm, right? Stick him a catcher all day long. But, downside, 4 speed. Defensively not great. Low stamina. Right? So there is trade-offs when you get to those later rounds. You got people like Ernie. Right? Same thing. Ernie's fine. Stick him at 1 base. He'll do a job all day long. 4 height. In fact, dare I say, if you can get Ernie, even unboosted Ernie, which, for the record, probably not a great example, because generally there's going to be a boosted version, right? Because Ernie gets to play on steel, he gets a boosted version. He will go earlier than this. But this is just an example. Jason is probably a better example if we're talking first base, right? As long as they're free height, you'll be fine. This is usually where those late game first bases come into effect. Your Melissas, your Jasons. But, if you want to take a risk, you could go 1E, right? Big power, good arm, but that 1 height, it's going to hurt, right? So just consider that when you get to the really late rounds. There's going to be a lot of trade-offs. If you want to see what the draft, at least, if we go by pick, is saying, if we just simply go by like the ranking of what the meta is, the latest one's 216. 216 will get you from Felix, Vanessa Goodman, which again, you know, Vanessa's not great, but she's a 6 speed. If you can get listen, once you get to round 9 speed, you're almost guaranteed a 4. You can get a 5, but they're going to have a lot of weaknesses. But if you don't mind taking a risk, you can get 6. You can get 6 speed. Why does 6 speed make a difference over 4? It's a huge difference. It is a really big difference. Especially if you're going for a field like dirt. Or... because you can tell the speed difference because there's a +2 modifier. Or if you go for somewhere like... even parks where there's 0 modifier, you will feel 4, right? So just keep it in mind. So, I don't think I need to say any more. Good luck to everyone in Season 7. I hope you all have a great season. If you have any questions at all, if you want maybe something a little bit more in-depth, or you have a specific question, whether it be a player, or just a slot draft, or just regarding the Discord, right? Please, because I'll be around, and I will answer, I promise. Send me a DM. If it's not me, it'll be Killabat or Jibbo if I'm not around. Send Jibbo a message. Send Killabat a message. And we will help you as much as we can. Okay? That's it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Good luck.